In India today, it's easier to find a state ruled by the BJP than one that isn't. But there's one state that has stayed stubbornly out of the BJP's reach. Massive rallies, star campaigners, big promises. The BJP throws everything at it. But the winning formula just doesn't work here. Which state is this? The answer lies not just in politics, but in history, in identity, in culture, colliding in ways the BJP has never fully been able to grasp. That state is Tamil Nadu, where rules of politics are written very differently. In Tamil Nadu, BJP's usual playbook just doesn't land. They've draped Thiruvalluvar in saffron, staged Murugan Yatras, used death and land conflicts to polarize. Sure, some of it has shown small dividends, but never enough. So let's look at the story of Tamil Nadu and why it remains the BJP's toughest battleground, and what the party's game plan to finally break through is. Let me explain. Tamil Nadu votes next year. In the run-up, you'll see endless stories about alliances, seat math and sound bites. But that rarely explains why things happen. At the News Minute, we go deeper, connecting the dots, tracing the context, and making sense of the political landscape. We don't take money from political parties because we rely only on you. Support journalism that treats you as an informed citizen and not just a headline consumer. Become a News Minute subscriber today and power our journalism. You know what you have to do. Scan the QR code on your screen, or you can click the link in the description below. Do write to me at lme@thenewsminute.com with your thoughts on this episode, and do also suggest topics for my future episodes. Tamil Nadu has always been a different political universe. The state has been shaped by Dravidian movements, rationalist politics, and anti-caste struggles. Leaders like Periyar, who thundered against Brahminical orthodoxy and unequal social orders. C.N. Annadurai, who built a political movement around Tamil identity, rationalism, and social justice. And thinkers like Ayodhyadas Panditer, who challenged caste oppression. That legacy left its mark. Religion is important for Tamils, but it has rarely been treated as the central axis of politics. Caste, language, and social justice mattered far, far more. Politically, the arithmetic is simple. No party can come close to power while the DMK and the AIADMK dominate. Many have tried. Vijaykanth, Ramadas, Seeman, and now Vijay is in the fray. At some point, if let's say a weak AIADMK weakens further, can the BJP move into that space? That's the question that political thinkers in the state are looking at. And the BJP is making every effort to enter the Tamil psyche. Tamil Nadu has resisted BJP, but that doesn't mean that they were absent. Back in 1990, L.K. Advani's Ram Rath Yatra had tried to bring Ayodhya movement to Tamil Nadu. There were communal tensions followed by Coimbatore blasts masterminded by extremist Muslim organizations. But that polarization did not work. The BJP's only breakthroughs came through alliances with both the ADMK and DMK in the late 90s. But those votes weren't really the BJP's. They belonged to the Dravidian parties. And when the alliances broke, the BJP was left without a base of its own. Let's now break down the anatomy of Tamil Nadu's resistance to the BJP. The line between Tamil identity and the Dravidian ideology has blurred so much over the last few decades that many people see them as the same. And that blurring has kept Dravidian parties dominant even today. The BJP has been trying to redraw that boundary. But their method has been less about language and rights. It's been more about religion, specifically Tamil religiosity. Take their push to appropriate Tamil god Murugan. In 2020, BJP launched the Vel Yatra, carrying the spear of Murugan across districts, and over the years, they have done many such campaigns around Murugan. The thing is, Murugan isn't just another deity in Tamil culture. He's deeply tied to the Tamil identity, celebrated in the Sangam literature, worshipped across castes, and framed by Dravidian leaders as a distinctly Tamil god. That's why for the BJP and Hindu Munnani, Murugan has become the perfect point to bridge the gap between Tamil pride and their own ideology. But attempts to fold Murugan into a pan-Hindu framework has been viewed as an outside interference. It isn't just Murugan. The 2021 Kashi Tamil Sangamam was to link Tamil culture with the Hindu heartland in Banaras.
ये संगम भी गंगा यमुना के संगम जितना ही पवित्र है.
Subramanya Bharati, seen as a voice of Tamil nationalism and social reform, has been reframed as a proto-Hindutva figure. Tiruvalluvar too has been saffronized. His Tirukkural, a classic of Tamil ethics, reinterpreted through Hindu nationalist readings. BJP leaders quote the Tirukkural, pose with Tiruvalluvar statues and try to show familiarity with Tamil Dravidian heritage.
तिरुवल्लुवर जी ने सैकड़ों वर्ष पूर्व कहा था, मारामाणम मांड.
Tamil Nadu celebrates Rajendra Cholan as Tamil pride, but the BJP projects him as pan-Indian Hindu glory. In July 2025, Modi went to Gangaikonda Solapuram, unveiled a coin and promised giant Chola statues. In Madurai, the contest is sharper. Tirupura Kundram Hill is sacred to Murugan, but it also houses centuries-old Sufi shrine. That layered sacredness is what the BJP and Hindu Munnani are challenging, pitching it as the Ayodhya of the South. But all these cultural strategies haven't paid off as much. Their limits become clearer when we look at issue-based mobilization. For example, in Tamil Nadu, the BJP almost never sets the agenda. For that matter, neither does the Congress. Unlike in northern states where they dominate the narrative, here they've been only responding to debates like NEET, fiscal federalism, Hindi imposition and state autonomy. Language offers one of the clearest examples of this gap. The BJP cannot abandon Hindi since it's central to their national project. At best, they can say all languages are important, but that rings hollow in a state that's deeply invested in linguistic pride. The BJP's usual strategy of religious polarization or Muslim alienation has also fallen flat because Tamil Nadu never experienced the trauma of partition. The region has historically seen a more syncretic Hindu-Muslim coexistence, but that has not stopped the BJP from trying. Here again, what works elsewhere for them does not translate because of Tamil Nadu's unique social fabric. The obstacles are not only cultural but also political. AIADMK under Jayalalitha made things even trickier for the BJP because she blended Dravidian identity with elements of soft Hindutva. For example, Jayalalitha backed the construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. She also pushed through an anti-conversion act in 2002. These moves accommodated Hindu sentiment but kept the BJP out of the central frame. There's also a deeper ideological mismatch that has kept BJP at the margins. The Dravidian movement was born in resistance to Aryan cultural domination. Hindutva, on the other hand, is steeped in a sense of Aryan pride and nationalism. That clash is not just political, it's ideological. But there have been places where the BJP has made inroads. At the southern tip of Tamil Nadu, in Kanyakumari, the party has seen pockets of real influence. A region with near 50-50 Hindu-Christian population, layered with caste dynamics and anxieties around religious conversions. Here, groups like the Kanyakumari Hindu Sena, with hundreds of ex-military veterans, have mobilized local communities. The RSS built temple communities and youth shakhas. Seva Bharati offered education, medical camps, even disaster relief. This became a model, what the RSS called the Seven Sisters Plan, a strategy modeled around their work in the Northeast and meant to expand systematically across the southern and western districts of Tamil Nadu. The BJP is also growing in the Congo belt. Many of its leaders are from this region. They've also been focusing on winning over specific communities, for example, the Gaundars. The truth is, in Tamil Nadu today, the BJP is visible like never before. The Madurai conference showed that they can marshal crowds and project momentum. But electoral reality is completely different. For many Tamils, the BJP project continues to feel imposed, even when it's dressed in local symbols. The Murugan conference then isn't proof that BJP has flipped. It's proof that the BJP is willing to fight the long game here, shifting from temples to shrines, from poetry to welfare schemes, from cultural symbolism to street power. One thing is clear, Tamil Nadu, once seen as immune to Hindutva, is now one of its most important battlegrounds. Now, before you leave, one thought. Consider the spaces where you feel most private. A theatre seat in the dark, a doctor's clinic, even your own home. Now imagine these moments being recorded, most times without your knowledge, and sold to strangers. This isn't fiction. It's happening every single day in India. At the News Minute, we're launching a hard-hitting series that investigates this invisible market, one that trades in private CCTV footage, intimate images, and recordings made without consent. It devastates lives and operates in a legal grey zone with little scrutiny. This kind of reporting demands courage, resources, and persistence. We are choosing to take it on because silence only protects the exploiters. But we need you with us. Make a contribution to our reporting fund and help us keep telling the stories that matter.